Can you guys hear now? Is it any better? Yeah, we had to restart because nobody could hear. All right, we're back in action. If you guys could do me a big favor, and while I am sharing out, or while I'm setting up the first poll, if you guys could hit that share arrow in the bottom right hand corner, and the yellow circle with the two arrows chasing each other, that's the repost, and that puts my live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch. Sorry to everyone who had audio issues. I have no idea why that would be, but here we are. So, because it still was TT, even though I restarted because it was working fine on the other two apps. So, yeah. Anyway. Hi, Chance. Thanks, Justin. Sorry about that, guys. All right, and thank you for reposting. Sharing to your stories helps too, and sharing to your friends. And I will be, and tapping a lot helps get us back closer to being pushed out on the FYP again. And I'll be right back with the first poll. Thank you, Holly. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Midnight Movie, thank you for the follow. I have a story called The Midnight Movie. Okay, you guys, I have the next poll ready. Okay, Sparkles, I got it. I wrote it down. All right, you guys. The poll is ready, and we have the Bell Witch, the Haint of Huggin' Molly, the Sasquatch Stalker, Eliza Crawford's Ghost, and Highway 13, which is an Are You Afraid of the Dark reworking. You can vote if you're on TT in the top left-hand corner. In the blue box, you can vote up to 50 times, and you can vote for more than one story. Jade, I love you for that. You're so cute. Thanks for helping. Appreciate you. And again, we have the Bell Witch, the Haint of Huggin' Molly, with her new beautiful picture, you guys. Molly's new picture is amazing. The Sasquatch Stalker, Eliza Crawford's Ghost, and Highway 13. Oh, Michelle, you're here. I didn't think I saw you, so I just invited you. Ignore that. Thank you, Jamie. This is the same one we always have. Thanks, Jamie. You like the shooting stars? Oh my goodness. Yay. I wasn't expecting Molly to win. Huggin' Molly for the win. Well, no, I change it every story, but this is the porch we use. And thank you, Jamie. I love you. Stay for the story, Jamie. Hi. Guys, one of my real life friends is in here. She said sometimes it's the Fresno knees. This is my friend Jamie. You're right. Sometimes it is the Fresno knees, and they're spooky. Okay, guys, I'll be right back with the tale of the Haint of Huggin' Molly. And if you're new here, welcome in. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I am here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do write and record all these stories myself, and you can listen to them even when I'm not live on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Just look for Porch Lore and you will find me. Oh, look at him with checking out the plant. Thanks, Trisha. So feel free to grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax. Check out the shooting stars. And welcome to the porch. Happy Friday. And thank you to everybody tapping the screen. I appreciate it. Michelle said Molly won't be pissed. Hi, Sam. Hi, Seabass. That's correct, Rhyme. Night, Henry. Sweet dreams. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. Oh, it's corn. Okay. Okay. Submitted for the approval. Oh, wait, she needs different music. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. We need the Banshee music. Thank you, Suzanne. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the haunt of Hug and Molly. And Don, that's good. That's the whole point. I've traveled all over the South, chasing whispers and shadows. Some turn out to be the wind through cypress trees, or a startled owl. But every once in a while, I stumble onto something that I can't just laugh off once the sun comes up. This story takes place in Abbeville, Alabama, a place you might not notice on the map unless you're already looking for trouble or trying to avoid it. Abbeville isn't big, but it's old. Settled in the early 1800s, it still wears the past like a wool coat in the summer, heavy and soaked through with memory. People there still speak in slow drawls, and you can get a plate of catfish bigger than your head for under $10. But what really drew me to Abbeville was a local legend that has stuck around for over 100 years. The tale of Huggy Molly. Now, depending on who you ask, Molly's either a grieving mother, a witch who lost her child, or some kind of cryptid that stalks the streets after dark. But everyone agrees on two things. She's tall, like 7 feet tall. Thank you, Lily. And she wraps you in a death grip hug so tight it knocks the breath out of you. She doesn't kill you, but you'll remember her for the rest of your life. Local kids are warned that if you stay out past sundown, Huggy Molly might grab you up and scream in your ear. I had heard the story years ago, and I always figured it was one of those moral tales meant to scare kids into getting home by supper. But I never forgot it. And last October, while tracing old Civil War routes through southern Alabama, I decided to make a stop in Abbeville and see if the place had anything left of the legend. I pulled into town just before sunset. The streets were quiet. Too quiet for a Friday night. Downtown was a cluster of old brick buildings and faded murals that looked like they hadn't been touched since the 1940s. I parked near the library, a gorgeous old building that still had gas lanterns flickering out front. And I walked toward the courthouse square. I got lucky. A local historian named Bobby was closing up the museum and offered me a private look inside. The museum itself was one room, barely big enough to turn around in without knocking over a display. There were Civil War artifacts, some dusty family Bibles, and a glass case dedicated entirely to Huggy Molly. The case held newspaper clippings, a child's bonnet, and a charcoal sketch from 1914 that made the hair on my arms rise. It showed a towering woman in white, with long arms and eyes that seemed too big, like saucers. Her mouth was wide, almost smiling, but in a way that made you feel like smiling back would be a mistake. Bobby told me the sketch was done by a boy named Samuel Gaines, who claimed he saw her one Halloween night, and after that, he never spoke again. He died in a sanitarium up in Montgomery in 1938. Bobby said the story always resurfaces when the weather turns cool and the air smells like smoke. Now, I've heard my fair share of ghost stories, and I've had a few strange experiences that have kept me awake at night, but I hadn't expected to feel anything in Abbeville. But something about that drawing, about the cold stillness inside that museum, made me decide to stay the night and see if I could walk the route that people claimed Molly used to follow. According to locals, she favored Kirkland Street, right near the old carriage trail that once led out of town into the woods. I checked into a little roadside inn and I waited for the clock to strike midnight. It was the kind of night where the fog doesn't roll in, it seeps in. Everything felt damp and muffled. I walked slowly, flashlight in hand, down Kirkland Street. The houses were spaced wide apart, dark and shuttered. It was the kind of quiet that makes you wonder if anyone else even lives in the whole town. And then I heard it. Not footsteps, something softer like cloth dragging across pavement. I turned off my flashlight and I stood still. My ears strained as I held my breath. The sound came again, this time closer. Not in front of me, but behind me. I turned and I saw nothing. Just as I finally exhaled, there came a strange pressure. My chest tightened and I suddenly felt ice cold. And not the kind that creeps up your arms, but the kind that shoots straight through your ribs. I looked up, and there she was. A silhouette, 7 feet tall at least, standing beneath a tree. I couldn't make out her face, just the shape of her, tall and thin. Her head tilted just slightly as she took a step toward me. I couldn't move. I should have screamed, but all I could do was stand there while she came closer. Her arms opened wide. Not quickly, but in a slow, almost loving way. And then she was around me. I didn't feel hands. I felt pressure. like being vacuum sealed into a memory that I didn't want. It was like being hugged by grief itself. Dense, hollow, and cold as grave soil. And then just beside my ear, she screamed. Not a word, not a name. Just a pure, mournful wail that blasted straight through me. I dropped to my knees, and the scream faded into the fog. And when I opened my eyes, she was gone. I staggered back to my car. I don't remember unlocking it or the drive back to the inn. I don't even remember getting into my room, getting into bed, or falling asleep. I don't really remember anything after she hugged me. I was in some type of trance for the rest of the night. The next morning, I woke with a nosebleed, and my ribs ached like I had been tackled. I went back to the museum. Sorry guys, Merlin's yelling at the door. I went back to the museum, and Bobby told me one more story before I left. In 1909, a woman named Molly Langford lost her only child to scarlet fever. They say she went mad with grief and wandered the streets at night for weeks, begging people to let her hold their babies. When she died, folks said they could still hear her calling for her son. Others think Molly's not human at all. Some say she's tied to the land itself, an earthbound entity, an elemental. Whatever she is, I believe she's real. I can still feel her arms around me sometimes when I dream. So if you ever find yourself near Henry County, Alabama, especially in October, be careful walking after dark, because Hug and Molly might be looking for someone else to hold tight. And that's the tale of the Haint of Hug and Molly. Thank you, Lorna. Yes, Eric, all banshees are sad. She is heartbroken. That's what makes a banshee. Thank you, Shadow. I appreciate it. So yes, she's very sad. Hi, Alex. Thanks for coming. How you doing? Happy Friday. Hi, Salty Dog. Nice to see you again, Alex. Miss you. All right, you guys, I will set up the next poll so we can vote. And you just missed Hug and Molly, the Haint of Hug and Molly. Tomorrow morning, are you doing a live tomorrow morning? What time? I'll be right back with the poll. I know, Jade. I was like, Alex, I love you. Oh, you were on live earlier, man. Thank you, Maddie. Oh, you did, Alex. You're so sweet. Yeah, thank you. You know, it's Blue Jay season again. Are your Blue Jays back out and about, squawking and squeaking? And I mean the birds, actually, not the team. Oh, really, Maddie? I have all my Blue Jays are coming back. I'm so happy. Okay, guys, the poll is ready. We have the Bell Witch, Highway 13, which is an Are You Afraid of the Dark reworking. We have the Clover Door, which is a St. Patrick's Day holiday exclusive. We have the Ozarks Howler. And we have the Midnight Movie, which is also an Are You Afraid of the Dark reworking. Thank you, Denise. And you can vote in the top left-hand corner. There's a blue box, and you can vote up to 50 times, and you can vote for more than one story. Who's it gonna be? The Bell Witch and Justice for Empusa, Highway 13, The Clover Door, The Ozarks Howler, or The Midnight Movie? All right, and the winner is Highway 13. I'll be right back. Sorry, you guys, just had to deal with some tech maintenance on this side. It's fixed now. Oh my God. Michelle. Did he have a little gas mask on? Also, thank you for everybody tapping. Oh my God, Willie. Lily. I said Willie. Lily. I got so excited. I said Willie. Lily, John Trump, Lizzie. He was snowboarding. Laura, thank you for the fireworks. Oh my God, he was snowboarding. I'm cackling. I just called Lily Willie because it was so cute. I was trying to say wow. I was like, oh my God, Willie. Like, hi, Tommy. Yeah, he was a snowboarding kitty. And thank you, Laura, for the beautiful fireworks. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of Highway 13. Thank you, Takamac. Thank you, Mackenzie. This story is about secondhand things, not thrift store jackets or hand-me-down furniture. Those were harmless. This was about the other kind of secondhand. The kind that carried history soaked deep into the seams. The kind that came with consequences you didn't agree to, but you inherited anyway. Thank you, Tokamak. Because sometimes when you take something used, you also take whatever unfinished business is still clinging to it. Evan and Marcus had been friends for almost 20 years. College roommates turned business partners. Evan was steady, cautious, the kind of man who read contracts twice and drove 5 miles under the speed limit. Marcus lived faster. He believed in instinct, impulse, gut decisions made it full throttle. And somehow, their friendship had survived the imbalance. It was Marcus who found the car. They were at a liquidation, an auction on the edge of town. The kind held in an abandoned lot where Banksy's property sat under buzzing floodlights. Most of the inventory was boring. Filing cabinets, outdated computers, repossessed appliances. But then there was the car. A black 1970s muscle coupe, low to the ground, long hood, aggressive lines. It didn't look wrecked. It didn't look salvaged. It looked intact, almost perfect. The paperwork listed it as impounded property, recovered after an unresolved fatality case. No next of kin claimed it. That should have been enough to walk away, but Marcus didn't. He saw potential. He saw power. He saw freedom. But Evan saw trouble. Marcus was already circling it, already picturing himself behind the wheel. Thanks, Michelle. He talked about flipping it, restoring it, selling it. Big profit, quick turnaround. Evan knew Marcus's version of quick usually meant reckless. But they ended up buying it anyway. The first strange thing wasn't mechanical. The engine purred beautifully. No grinding, no knocks, no red flags under the hood. It ran like it had never been abandoned. The strange thing was the smell, like burnt rubber. Marcus insisted on taking it out that same evening. Just a short drive, just to feel it. They didn't plan to take Highway 13. Highway 13 had a reputation. A narrow 2-lane stretch that cut through marshland outside the city. Long curves, poor lighting, more roadside memorial crosses than mile markers. Locals said the fog rolled in fast there, even when the rest of the county was clear. They ended up there by accident. At least that's what Marcus claimed. And the fog began gradually. A thin haze at first, and then denser. And then thick enough that the world beyond the headlights dissolved into blank gray. The radio flickered with static, and Evan told Marcus to turn around. Marcus laughed it off. And then the truck appeared. An 18-wheeler. No company logo. No reflective tape. Just matte darkness and 2 pale headlights cutting through the fog. It hadn't been there a second earlier. Marcus sped up, and the truck matched him. The fog thickened until the world felt enclosed and sealed off from everything beyond that stretch of pavement. Then the road sign emerged ahead. Bridge, 1 lane. Evan's stomach dropped. The truck's engine roared louder. Marcus's expression shifted. Not fear, but something competitive and provoked. The truck surged forward just enough to threaten their lane. And it became clear very quickly that this was not random traffic behavior. This was a challenge. Evan told Marcus to pull over, to let it pass. But Marcus refused. The bridge loomed ahead, narrow and old. Steel railings rusted through in places, and there was not enough room for 2 vehicles. Then the truck accelerated, and Marcus did too. And for a moment, as they neared the bridge, Evan noticed something in the reflection of the windshield. 2 faint silhouettes in the back seat. Thank you, Leslie. Not reflections. The bridge was suddenly empty. The fog thinned and the engine idled softly as if nothing had happened. In the rearview mirror, the silhouettes were gone. Marcus sat frozen, hands locked on the wheel. Evan sat there and realized that the truck had not stopped, but by braking, Marcus had broken the pattern. They drove home in silence. The next morning, the car would not start. Not because it was broken, but because it was done. They had it towed back to the impound lot and they signed it over without asking for any money. The clerk seemed confused, as though she didn't remember auctioning it off in the first place. Weeks later, Evan read an old article buried in digital archives. A fatal collision on Highway 13 decades ago. A young man and his best friend racing an 18-wheeler toward a 1-lane bridge. The car lost control and the truck driver survived, but neither of the young men in the car did. The article mentioned rumors of witnesses claiming the race replayed over and over again on really foggy nights. Thank you, Leslie. Sometimes surviving isn't about winning. Sometimes It's about being mature enough to refuse to even play the game. And that's the tale of Highway 13, which is an Are You Afraid of the Dark reworking. And welcome in, everybody. If you're new here, my name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I am here every night from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. Thanks, Lorna. Yeah, all of the Are You Afraid of the Dark episodes had some type of lesson. Megaroo, thank you for the follow. Raven, thank you for the follow. Mayada, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch, guys. And if you are new here, I do write and record all these stories myself, and they are available for you to listen whenever you would like when I'm not live on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. So if you look for Porch Lore, you will find me, and all of the links are in my bio as well. And I am going to set up the next poll for us to vote for the next story. So grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back, watch the shooting stars, and welcome to the porch. Happy Friday. Mace, thank you for the cozy cryptids, and Sherry, thank you, and Deborah. And Crafty Girl, thank you for the club cheers, and the populars. And the paper crane, thank you. I love the color of that paper crane. It's my favorite color. My favorite color is periwinkle. Like a nice muted periwinkle. And for some reason, it's not used in a lot. It's only used in like little girl stuff, like unicorns, and it's always with pink. And periwinkle just really has so much more potential than just that. Suzanne, level 33. Oh my God. Thank you for the hand hearts. Periwinkle's your middle name. Skrilla, I was actually thinking about you today. But yes, periwinkle. I also love like sage green. I love sage green and periwinkle, like a muted periwinkle that goes with sage green. Oh yeah. Basically all the colors of my merch are my favorite colors. Yeah, Holly, look up every variation of periwinkle. I love. But I learned about it from the giant box of crayons that had the sharpener in the back. Do you guys remember? And I got that pack, and there were so many colors in it that I had never seen before. And there was a whole section of like the pastel-y light ones. There was the seafoam green, the salmon, and the periwinkle. And those three just spoke to me, dude. I was like, these three are it. And the periwinkle one was my absolute favorite. And then I thought it was really cool. And like the kids in third grade, my teacher asked us our favorite colors, and we all had to like go and say what they were, and every kid would be like green, yellow, blue, purple. And I stood up, I was such a brat. I was like, my favorite color is periwinkle, because I thought it was so cool that I knew. Like, what a brat. Oh my god. And I pretty much did that through college. No, I'm just kidding. And then get this, in 2022, I think it was, or 23, the color of the year was periwinkle. And I can tell you that literally at least 30 people from my life, like throughout my life, texted me randomly. Were like, you're the only person I've ever known that talks about periwinkle. It's the color of the year this year. Like the Pantone color of the year one year was periwinkle. And I was so excited because I thought like, oh my God, this is it. Everything's going to come out in periwinkle this year. I'm buying everything. And then nothing did. It like literally was like the only year they didn't make everything. I was waiting for like a periwinkle iPhone, everything. But then I found out they don't make the executive iPhone in colors because they think it's only men who are executives. But that's a whole nother topic. Oh, hi DC Kool-Aid. Welcome. Anna, I have a separate phone that I'm watching the live on so I can see the GIFs because I do my live off TikTok Studio, and the GIFs only show up half of the time on Studio because it's literally like the most ridiculous app. And I know exactly what you're talking about, Tracy. The periwinkle TY bear. It's so cute. And its name is periwinkle. I might have it actually, I think. Because periwinkle's a little bit my favorite color since I was a little kid. So I've accumulated some periwinkle things over the years. I used to have a pair of Calvin Klein periwinkle pants, and they were like amazing. Like I'm still obsessed with them. Oh, okay, so let me explain that to you, Anna. The roses will just come across the screen like a little banner really quick. They don't pop up on the screen in an animation. The ones that cost more coins are the only ones that pop up as an animation. The rest of the smaller ones just come across the screen like a little banner that say, so if you were expecting, if you were like, because it would disappear in the chat, if you were looking for a big thing to pop up, it wouldn't for a rose. The rose just comes up like a little. Oh, that's okay, Anna. You'll get used to it. And everybody understands that you can't, sometimes you, see, there you go. Thank you, Don. Did you just see that? That's what the rose looks like. Thank you. The rose, did you see it? See right there, Anna? The rose just comes up like that real quick. It's not going to be like a big, and you're still new to going live, right? So people will understand if you didn't say things because you can't catch every single gift, you know, especially when if you're setting a goal or if you're inviting people or checking. There's a lot of times where you're not actually looking at the screen for a second. So beefy. Okay, guys, I'm setting up the next poll. Be right back. Okay, you guys, the next poll is ready. And we have the Bell Witch, the New Orleans vampires, the Crawl Space, the Ozarks Howler, and the Cave. And you can vote in the top left. Oh my God, he's so cute. Thank you, Michelle. What was he holding? A crystal? You can vote in the top left-hand corner. Hi, CJ. There's a blue box, and you can vote up to 50 times, and you can vote for more than one story. Oh, Michelle typed it earlier. Thanks for having me, CJ. I love that. Jade, Michelle typed it earlier. She typed the puppy's name. Ask her again. Because she typed it out and it was hilarious. And I had forgotten already. Hi, Chelsea. Yeah, I noticed CJ was missing too. I miss his rap lyrics. All right, you guys. It's neck and neck. We got vampire lovers in here. Where are they at? This is a close one. The vampires are losing now. The New Orleans vampires will shock me if they don't. And the winner is the Cave. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you, Heidi. Also, if you're new here, welcome in. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I'm here every single night at 10 p.m. until about 1 in the morning. If you guys can... Oh, hi, Kay. Welcome in. If you guys could do me a big favor And if you could hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner, there is a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. Also, sharing to your stories and sharing with your friends in the messages helps too. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, check out the shooting stars in the sky, and welcome to the porch. Happy Friday. I will be right back with the tale of the third man's cave. Oh my God, Chelsea, look at him taking his little field notes. He's so cute. Thank you. Oh, and sorry, Sue, the voting is just on TikTok, but Justin writes in the chat like you saw he will vote for you if you have a preference. Good night, Holly. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pals Society. This is the tale of the third man's cave. Thank you, Metro Boomin. Glad to see you back. This story is about me and my friends. Taylor, Allie, Carrie, and Casey. And the day we went hiking and had an experience none of us were prepared for. It started as the perfect day trip. The 5 of us had been planning it for weeks. A long hike through a beautiful park, nestled deep in a dense forest. The kind of place with miles of trees, winding trails, and that total sense of escape from the rest of the world. We planned to start early, explore all day, and be back at our cars by nightfall. After that, we'd drive to a cute little Airbnb we'd reserved nearby. Simple and easy. The weather forecast had been clear, at least the night before, so we didn't give it another thought that morning. Backpacks loaded with snacks, water, and hiking essentials. We hit the trail in high spirits. Taylor, always the comedian, was cracking jokes the entire time. Casey, our quiet observer, stopped constantly to photograph trees and flowers. Carrie was the caretaker, making sure everyone stayed hydrated and reapplied sunscreen. And Allie, the most organized of us, led the way with a map in hand. We were laughing, talking, completely immersed in nature, when the first rumble of thunder caught us off guard. It was low and distant, like a warning. Allie stopped and looked up at the sky, frowning. She asked if anyone had checked the weather again that morning. Of course, none of us had. The forecast had been clear the night before, so we hadn't thought twice about it. Now, the sky was darkening fast. Heavy clouds rolling in far quicker than we expected. Casey suggested we keep moving, and we all agreed. Not long after, the rain started. Just a light sprinkle at first. But it didn't stay that way. Within minutes, it turned into a steady downpour. The trees towered over us, and suddenly the trail felt exposed. We picked up the pace, but the ground became slick with mud. And no matter how good your hiking boots are, fresh, wet mud makes it almost impossible to keep your footing. About 15 minutes later, the rain intensified into something much worse. It felt like the sky had opened up completely. Water pooled on the trail, then began rushing downhill in fast-moving streams. Soon it was pushing against our ankles. We stopped and huddled together, heads down, trying to figure out what to do while keeping each other steady. It became painfully clear that we were in a flash flood zone. We needed shelter, and we needed it fast. The wind whipped violently through the trees, and I swear the forest itself sounded like it was shifting, reacting to the storm. Taylor had gone completely silent now. This wasn't funny anymore. And that's when I spotted something through the rain. a rocky outcrop on the hillside. I pointed it out, hoping against hope that maybe it was a cave. Thank you, Kim. I appreciate you. It was our only option. As we got closer, we saw it clearly. A small, dark opening carved into the hill. It wasn't inviting, but it was shelter. Without hesitation, we ducked inside one by one. The storm still raging behind us. The air inside was damp and cold, and the walls were rough, jagged stone. The opening had a slight overhang and offered a narrow view of the forest beyond. And etched into the rock were faint remnants of old fire marks. My first thought was that this must have been used long ago by the indigenous people who lived here. Thank you, Sherry. We couldn't see how far the cave extended. My inadequate flashlight beam didn't reach the back. I was soaked and freezing, and spelunking was not on my list of priorities. The cave wasn't super comfortable, but it was dry and that made it cozy. So we huddled together, shivering. Casey scanned the cave entrance, her face lit by dull gray daylight, and she said that the place gave her the creeps. And we all agreed. There was something about it. An ancient, heavy feeling. Like this cave had been used long before us. The walls bore strange faded etchings, symbols worn down by time. And it was obvious that we weren't the first people to ever take shelter here. Carrie unpacked some snacks, trying to lift everyone's spirits. She said it was just a storm and that we'd wait it out and be on our way. But the storm didn't ease. If anything, it got worse. Wind howled outside and rain began blowing into the cave entrance. So we scooted further back. And then we heard it, a soft, rhythmic sound. At first, it sounded like water dripping from the ceiling. Eerie, but explainable. But then it became clearer, slower, more deliberate. And it didn't sound like water anymore. It sounded like footsteps. Thank you, Jacob. That was beautiful. Slow, steady footsteps coming from deeper inside the cave. Allie said it was probably just the storm playing tricks on us, but she didn't really sound convinced. And I stared at the symbols on the wall, trying to remember where I had seen them before, and then it hit me. I remembered a story. Long ago, before the park existed, there had been a small settlement here. The settlers had dug into the hills looking for resources, and they disturbed something sacred. People started disappearing. Strange creatures were reported at night. And then one day, the entire village vanished. The land was said to be cursed. And that's when the footsteps stopped, right at the cave entrance. We sat in silence for what felt like forever. The storm thundered outside, but inside, everything was still. We heard more sounds after that. Scraping, dripping, occasional movement. And after a while, we decided that we might have to sleep there. So we agreed to explore the rest of the cave to see what we were dealing with. Carrie volunteered to go first. Flashlight in hand, the cave split into 2 paths deeper in, and without realizing it, we lost track of which direction she went. Taylor and I explored one tunnel while Allie and Casey took the other. We saw Carrie's inadequate flashlight at the end of our tunnel, and we called out to her, but she didn't respond. But when we regrouped with Allie and Casey, they said that Carrie had just come out with them. Confused, Taylor and I ran back down our tunnel where we had just seen her light. And she was gone, and the tunnel didn't connect the other path. That was enough. We returned to the front of the cave and we waited out the storm. From that point on, Carrie was different. Her voice became flat, her eyes were empty. She looked like someone who had just woken up and hadn't fully remembered who they were yet. There's a super fan box. Thank you, Michelle. We left the cave before the rain fully stopped and we hiked back to the cars. All of us were shaken. Allie suggested maybe Carrie had been exposed to mold or something toxic in the cave. When we asked Carrie for the Airbnb address, the one that she had booked, she stared at us and asked, "What's an Airbnb?" And that was when the fear set in. At the cabin later, Carrie left her belongings in the car and wandered into the backyard, running her hands along the siding like she was feeling it. Later, she stood naked in the dark bathroom, smiling at herself in the mirror with a wide, unnatural grin. When Casey tried to examine her for head trauma, Carrie growled at her. We locked down for the night after that. The next morning, Carrie and Casey were gone. No bags, no phones, no trace. When we finally reached them, by phone, they told us they were in Kansas. How'd they get home already? Then they tell us they had always been in Kansas. They'd never gone on the trip, never hiked, never been in the cave with us. They didn't remember any of it. The only explanation I can find is something hikers call third man syndrome, a phenomenon where unseen presences appear during traumatic wilderness events to guide or comfort people. I don't know what we encountered that day, but I know this. We went into that cave with 5 people, or so I thought, and we came out with something that didn't belong to us. So if you ever find yourself deep in the woods, caught in a storm, remember this. Not all shelters are as empty as they seem. And that's the tale of the third man's cave. Thank you, Songbird. Thank you, Amy. Congratulations, Charlene. And thank you again, Michelle, for sending that treasure box. Very generous of you. Thank you, Metro. Thank you, Songbird. Okay, you guys, the next poll is ready. And if you are on TT, you can vote. We have the Bell Witch, the Sasquatch Stalker, the Clover Door, the Lubbock Lights, and the Versailles Time Slip. Hi, Jerry. And you can vote in the top left-hand corner on the blue box. And you can vote up to 50 times. And you can vote for more than one story. Who's it gonna be? Now that was an upset. The clover door is the winner. I'll be right back with that story. Also, if you're new here, welcome in. My name's Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And if you guys could do me a big favor before I start the next story, could you hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner? And there's a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other. If you've already done it, you can undo it and redo it. That helps. And it's called repost. And it just puts my live into your friends' FYPs and boosts the algorithm. And it helps us get pushed out so we can find more porch pals who like the spooky stuff we like. Also, using keywords throughout the night in the chat helps the AI figure out what this live is about. And it does also help us get pushed out to the correct people. Things like, are you afraid of the dark? Goosebumps. Supernatural, paranormal, spooky, scary stories, storyteller, ASMR, bedtime stories, anything like that helps immensely. Mothman, Goatman, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, anything like that. You can put them in funny sentences if you would like. Hi, Venus. And I will be right back with the tale of the clover door. Hi, Misty. Miss you. Hi, Spooky Bestie. Good night, Lorna. Sweet dreams. Love you. Thank you, Crafter Girl. Thank you, Jess. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the last call at the Clover Door. I wasn't supposed to go out that night. That was the agreement I had made with myself sometime mid-afternoon. Sitting at my kitchen table with a glass I hadn't finished and a phone full of messages I hadn't answered. St. Patrick's Day had a way of turning into something else for me. Something less like a celebration and more like an excuse I didn't need. I told myself I'd stay in, order food, watch something mindless, and let the night pass like any other. But as the light started to fade and the noise from outside crept in, distant laughter, music bleeding through walls, that familiar hum of people already a few drinks ahead of themselves, I felt that pull. Not strong, not overwhelming, just consistent. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Jess. Like something that I'd followed enough times that my body didn't need permission anymore. By the time I realized I had made the decision, I was already walking. Didn't grab a jacket, didn't check the time, just stepped out and let the noise guide me. The streets were exactly what you'd expect. Green everywhere, plastic beads, faces flushed from cold air and cheap liquor. Every bar spilling over, every doorway packed, every laugh just a little too loud. I moved through it without stopping, past places I'd been before, places that would have welcomed me without question. But that wasn't what I wanted, not exactly. I was looking for something quieter. Something that didn't feel like it was trying so hard. I don't remember turning down the street. One second I was in the middle of it all, and the next, it was in the distance. Like someone had turned the volume down instead of shutting it off. The street I found myself on was narrower and older. The kind of place where the buildings leaned slightly. Just a few dim lights and a silence that didn't match the rest of the night. And that's where I saw the bar. The sign hung crooked above the door, paint chipped, what darkened from years of weather. The Clover Door. I stood there for a second trying to place it. I had lived in this city long enough to know most of the spots worth knowing, and this wasn't one of them. Curious, I pushed the door open. And the first thing I noticed was it was quiet. Not empty, not dead, just contained. Thank you, Jacob. There were people inside, maybe a dozen, scattered along the bar and a few small tables. No music, just low conversation and the clink of glass and the scrape of wood against wood. The bartender looked up as I stepped in. Didn't smile, just nodded with agreement and acknowledgement like I was there. I took a seat at the bar, didn't say anything. I didn't need to. A glass appeared in front of me a few seconds later, already poured, already waiting. That should have felt strange, but it didn't. I figured it was just some St. Patrick's Day drink special. So I picked it up and I took a sip, and it tasted right. Too right. Smoother than anything I'd had in a long time. I let out a slow breath, that familiar easing, the one that I'd been chasing for longer than I wanted to admit. For a while, nothing felt off. That's the part that makes it hard to explain. It was subtle enough that I didn't question it until it was already too late to pretend. There was a man sitting 2 stools down from me, and he caught my attention first. Not because he did anything unusual, but because he'd been in the same position since I had walked in. Glass in hand, elbow on the bar, head tilted slightly downward. I watched him for a minute, and then 2, and he didn't move. He didn't blink, he didn't shift, he just held that position perfectly still. I looked away and I told myself I was just reading too much into it. But then I noticed someone else, a woman in the back, sitting at a table alone. She hadn't really moved much either. She looked like she was lost in thought. I scanned the room, and more carefully I did. It wasn't obvious or dramatic. It was just like everyone was kind of in their own little world. Like the bartender kept wiping the same section of the bar over and over again. I took another sip, and the warmth didn't hit the same this time. It didn't settle the way it had before. I set the glass down, and the sound echoed more than it should have. And that's when the man beside me finally spoke. "First time here?" His voice sounded normal. I turned slightly, and he was looking at me now. "Yeah, you could say that." He nodded. "Most people don't find this place on purpose." What does that mean?" He didn't answer immediately. He just lifted his glass, looked at it, and looked back at me. "You ever wake up and realize you don't remember getting home?" he asked. I didn't respond. He nodded again, like that was answer enough. "Yeah," he said quietly. "Me too." Something shifted in the room. The air felt different. He turned his body slightly toward me, more engaged now, more present than anyone else in the bar. "So, what were you driving?" he asked. The question landed harder than it should have. He leaned back slightly and exhaled. "I told myself I was fine, every time. But it only takes once to be wrong." The lights in the bar flickered, not dramatically, just enough to shift the shadows, and for a split second, the man beside me looked strange. Then suddenly the lights steadied and everything snapped back. "What is this place?" I asked. The man looked at me for a long moment and said, "It's where the night stops." I didn't understand, not fully. "St. Patrick's Day," he continued. "Biggest drinking night of the year in a lot of places." He gestured loosely around the room. "Everyone here thought they had one more in them." My stomach dropped. "They didn't mean to," he added. "None of us do." That word hit. Us. I wasn't one of them. That's when I stood up from my chair. I stepped back from the bar, my heart beating faster now. "I'm leaving," I said. The man nodded. "Yeah, while you still can." I turned toward the door. I reached for it, and I hesitated, thinking of all the lives lost on this very night due to drinking too much. Then I pulled the door open, and I stepped through. The noise hit immediately, loud. Bright, alive. The street was exactly how I left it. Crowds, music, laughter, everything in motion. I stood there for a second, catching my breath and grounding myself. I turned around and the clover door behind me was gone now. No sign, no door, no bar. Just a blank stretch of wall between two buildings that didn't quite line up. And that's when I saw it down the street. A small crowd gathered at an intersection. A small crowd had gathered at an intersection, not celebrating, just standing, looking. I moved closer, each step heavier than the last, and then I saw why. Flashing lights, red, blue, an ambulance, a police car, a vehicle, crumpled against a pole. Front end completely collapsed inward. Glass scattered across the pavement. And near the edge of the scene, a stretcher. Someone lying on it, covered and still. A paramedic speaking quietly to someone just out of frame. I didn't need to get any closer. I didn't need to see more because I already understood what the man in the bar had meant now. It only takes once to be wrong. I looked back over my shoulder, and I saw the man from the accident walking down that alley as the clover door reappeared. He opened the door and he walked in. I didn't drink the rest of that night, and I didn't go into another bar, and I haven't had a drink since. Not because I'm afraid of what I saw, not exactly, but because I can't shake the feeling that it wasn't random. It felt like a warning, like a line that I hadn't crossed yet. But sometimes late at night, when everything else gets quiet and I start to crave a drink, I think about the clover door and all those people. If I had taken one more sip, if I had stayed just a little longer, if I had walked into a different bar that night, would I have ever left at all? Or would I still be there, sitting at that bar, glass in hand, waiting for someone else to walk through so I could ask them the same question? So, what were you driving? And that's the tale of the clover door. And someone said, how have I not heard this? I have over 100 stories, and most of the time these same exact 6 get requested every night. So that's probably how. Thank you, Hunter. Thank you, Metro. Oh yeah, Rocks. This is the St. Patrick's Day one, and the holiday ones are exclusive to the live. So that's why you wouldn't hear this one on the YT. Because this is the St. Patrick's Day one. Thank you, Jade. Nicole, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch. Dorayaki is knocked out. I love that. And yes, just a reminder, thank you Jade and Kim for reminding. In case you guys aren't familiar with the gift gallery, if you click on my profile picture at the top left hand corner, there's a little thing that says B2 gift gallery. If you notice, I've dropped down to B2, which I don't really care about, but there's 6 out of 21 gifts. It does help me stay in my place and keep a higher percentage of the gifts you guys give if I stay in a higher league. So I would greatly appreciate anybody who feels compelled to help me with my gift gallery, because I rarely mention it, and my gift gallery is pretty much never filled by Sunday. So thank you to Jade and Kim for reminding me about that, because I continue to forget. And yes, you pay for it. That's how it works. You pay creatives for their time. That's how it works. So thank you for reminding me. I always forget. And so if you guys feel compelled, there is a whole, I don't know how they pick those. They pick random ones that they like to get filled in. I have no idea why they pick those or what the choice, but those are the ones. So if you look at the boxes, the ones that are grayed out or whatever, it helps. I always never bring it up because I hate asking, but my mods reminded me tonight that I need to bring it up more often, and you guys are correct. So thank you guys. I appreciate you. Also, sharing and reposting helps immensely, and tapping on the screen is free, and it is so grateful. It is so helpful, and I'm so grateful when you guys tap, because it does help us a lot more than you realize. So thank you so much. And I will be right back with the next poll. I will do an extra story since it's Friday. And I'll be right back. Skrilla, thank you for the jungle blitzy. I love that guy. He's so cute. Thank you. I know, Misty, me too. I wish we could pick our own gifts. And that's why I was like, I don't even know why they pick them. And they're really, wait a minute. Because I don't even, these aren't even the ones I would pick. They're not even... some of them are just really ridiculously high, and you know what I mean? It's just not what I would pick for the gallery, but it is what it is. Good night, Joker. Sleep well. What, lovely? What do you mean? Did you get blocked? I saw your comment. I see your comment. Did you pin it? Okay, I'll pin yours, because I'm actually don't think I'm allowed to tell people. I actually don't think I'm allowed to instruct people verbally on how to do it, or I get in trouble. Yeah, I saw that, lovely, and I just tried to pin your comment, and then you just pinned her comment. I already saw that one. And I'm trying to pin what you said. I can't verbally explain it, or I will get in trouble. I'm not allowed to tell you guys how to do it. Oh, Jade did. Okay. Yeah, Jade did. Of course, the queen of overpinning. Thank you, Lily. Oh, I see it now. Thank you so much, Lily. It just popped up on my other phone. Thank you. And Michelle, thanks for the hand hearts. And thank you guys for all the cozy cryptids and the donuts and the hanging lights. You guys are so sweet. And thank you for the cozy cryptid, Skrilla and Misty. The cozy cryptid's forever going to be my favorite gift, because I'm never going to get over how they put my grandma's necklace in it. Lovely. That's so funny. You said you were just blaming Jade because she's so helpful, and she did. She did. She didn't mean to. She's so cute. Anyway, I'm not allowed to explain, so if somebody else would like to explain in the chat, Whoa, I've never seen that one, Michelle. Celebration tape. What is that? But you can, Hunter, you can link your PP account. That's how I did it. I don't really know how people do it without having their PP linked to it. And I know that sounds really ridiculous saying your PP linked to it, but I'm not allowed to say the name of the site. So yeah, PNP. I know. My phrasing is always bad, Justin. I have like corn star phrasing without even meaning to all the time. Lemons makes fun of me all the time for it. Okay, lovely. Yeah, I agree. I prefer to use PP, not my card, but I know. I prefer PP, you know? I really do. Anyway, I was seeing some people use Apple Pay. Yeah. Michelle, I know. Merlin is being so weird right now. Okay, quick poll for the next story. Oh my gosh, Lily, that was so cool. Thank you. And thank you for the mustache and hat. That was so cool. And Rox, thanks for the hand hearts, you guys. Okay, the next poll is ready. You wish my eyes would. Like a Cheshire cat. Okay, the next poll is ready, and I'm going to let Merlin out while I set up the poll. I want to press the poll because he's being a brat, and I let him in, even though I never let him in because he does this every time. And now, if you listen, he's going at the door, right, Merlin? Yeah, he's being all. No, he's in right now, and now he wants out. He's been in for the last 2 stories, and he was chugging water the whole last story, and then he was licking himself really loudly, and I had to take his bell off. And now he wants out. I'm like, dude, this is why I don't let him in here during the stories, because he's just like, he wants all my attention. And he's just doing remember when he knocked over my necklace stand the other night when I let him in, you guys, and scared everybody? Yeah, he was expecting the diner story, and he's pissed. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Now he's mad. I know, and he's such a cutie. He can do whatever he wants. You can do whatever you want, Merlin. I love you. I love you. We love you. We love you, Merlin. He's gonna be pissed in a minute. He's gonna be like, let me out. Okay. So I bought him a new toy today too, and he's not even thankful. What are you laughing about, Jade? Yeah, he can do no wrong. He's just the best thing in the world. He is the most cute. Did you hear him? This impatient little man. Merlin, are you impatient? Merlin. I know, his little bow tie. He just got a new bow tie for spring, and it's blue, and it's really cute. Okay, the next poll is ready, you guys, and we have the hitchhiker. Do you hear him? The hitchhiker, the overnight delivery, the Natchez Trace spirits, and the Lubbock lights. And you can vote in the blue box in the top left-hand corner. And he's pissed. We have the hitchhiker, overnight delivery, the Natchez Trace spirits, the Lubbock lights. Now he's banging on the door. Merlin. Good night, lovely, sweet dreams. And the winner is the Natchez Trace spirits. Good night, Lily. See you tomorrow. Sweet dreams. Thanks, Jade. All right, you guys, I'll be right back with the tale of the Natchez Trace spirits. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax. And welcome to the porch. Happy Friday. And yes, misbehaving after this one. So we have 2 stories. Yay, Leslie. Me too, Nisi. This is one of my favorite backgrounds, actually. Thank you, Miss Behaven. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Palace Society. This is the tale of the spirits of Natchez Trace. The Natchez Trace has a way of looking harmless at first. Thank you, Deborah. That was the first thing Leslie said as we pulled onto the parkway just north of Tupelo. The trees closing in on both sides like a tunnel made of green. She'd grown up in Mississippi, not far from the Trace, and talked about it the way people talk about something that's always been there. I had flown in the day before, still half disoriented from the travel, my brain buzzing with that jittery excitement that comes from being somewhere unfamiliar. Leslie, windows down, joking about how I had insisted on bringing snacks, as if we were heading into the wilderness instead of a scenic highway. But the thing about the Natchez Trace is that it used to be wilderness. Long before it was a parkway, it was a footpath. A trade route, a migration corridor, a place where entire lives passed through and sometimes ended. Native American tribes traveled it for centuries. Later came traders, settlers, soldiers, and so-called cane tucks, walking home after floating goods down the Mississippi River. Many of them never making it back. We planned to spend 2 days driving sections of the Trace, stopping at historical markers, walking some of the old sunken paths, and maybe, if we felt brave, checking out a few of the places locals whispered about, ghost camps, unmarked graves. At first, it felt peaceful. The trees were tall and close together, filtering the sunlight into soft green sheets. There were long stretches with no other cars, no cell service, and no sound except wind and tires on pavement. Every few miles, there'd be a small pull-off with a sign explaining something that had happened there 200 years ago, usually involving someone who never came home. Our first real stop was a sunken section of the original Trace, where centuries of feet had worn the path so deeply into the earth that it sat several feet below the surrounding forest floor. Standing at the top of it, looking down, felt like peering into a shallow grave carved by time itself. As we walked, Leslie talked. She always talked when she was nervous, turning history into humor. I trailed behind her, taking pictures, noticing how sound behaved strangely there. I chalked it up to acoustics. The first real warning came in the form of something small. At one point, at one of the pull-offs, near a place locals call the witch dance, I noticed offerings tucked near the base of a tree. A few coins, a ribbon tied to a low branch, and what looked like a small bottle of milk, half empty and old. Leslie noticed it too, but she brushed it off, saying people leave weird stuff everywhere now for social media. That night we stayed in a small motel not far from the trace. Nothing fancy, the kind of place where the doors opened directly to the parking lot and the ice machine sounded like it was dying. Over takeout, we went through our photos. Most were normal, but one photo made me pause. It was from the sunken path. Leslie walking ahead of me. The light behind her didn't look right. The shadows seemed thicker than they should have been, pooling unnaturally along the walls of the path. I zoomed in and then I zoomed out. I didn't tell Leslie. The next day we went deeper. We stopped at Rock Spring, and then at an old section of the trace known for stories about travelers disappearing. Leslie mentioned the ghost lights people claim to see at night. Floating orbs that moved just above the tree line, sometimes following cars. She laughed when she said it, but she slowed down afterward, checking her mirror more than necessary. By late afternoon, we reached a quieter stretch of road where the forest felt heavier, older. And that's when we found ourselves near the witch dance clearing. The ground was really dead there, a circular patch where nothing grew, stark against the living green around it. Leslie made a joke about cursed lawn care, but she didn't step into it either. We both stood at the edge instinctively. The wind picked up suddenly, spiraling through the clearing in a way that felt deliberate. The trees creaked, but the sound didn't spread. It stayed contained, like a clearing was holding it in. Oh my God, thank you, Catmandu. I love that. And that's when I felt it. Like we were standing somewhere we were not meant to linger. We left shortly after. As dusk settled in, we walked another short trail. One Leslie insisted that she had walked before, but it didn't feel familiar to her this time. She kept hesitating, doubling back, muttering that the trees didn't look right. At one point, she stopped walking altogether. She said the path felt longer than it should have been. We finally turned around, emerging back at the trailhead just as darkness settled fully in. The relief was immediate. That night, back at the motel, neither of us slept well. I dreamt of walking. Not forward, not backward, just walking endlessly. The ground beneath my feet, soft and worn as if thousands of others had passed there before me. I woke with my with my legs aching. But the twist didn't come until weeks later. Thank you, Nisi. Back home editing photos for a video, I noticed something that made my stomach drop. In multiple photos taken at different locations along the trace, there were shapes in the background, always just at the edge of frame, always slightly out of focus, and always positioned as if they were walking. Not toward us, but alongside us. I researched it, and there is folklore, older accounts of people who walk beside the living, remnants of travelers who never completed the journey, bound to the path itself. Oh my gosh, Misbehavin', thank you. Thank you so much for helping me with my gallery. That's so pretty. I love that noise. Thank you. Thanks, girl. I love that. Then I noticed in every photo where the shapes appeared, Leslie and I were walking in silence. The moments we were loud and laughing and careless, there was nothing. The trace didn't notice us then. It noticed us when we walked like travelers. Quiet, observant, respectful. Like those who came before us. The Natchez Trace doesn't haunt people. It recruits them. And that's the tale of the Natchez Trace spirits, featuring Leslie. Also, interesting fact about that story, I wrote that story about Leslie, my friend who lives in Mississippi, and I wrote about the weird photo, that of her on the trace and the light in the background. And after she heard it, she was like, oh my God, are you kidding? And guess what? She has a weird photo just like that of her on the trace. And she made a post about it. If you check it out on her page, she did a whole post about how it was pretty bizarre that I wrote details that I would never have known, which just kind of, I have claircognizance, so I get information sometimes and I'm like, I have no idea where it comes from. Yeah, I actually have claircognizance, Skrilla, which is clear knowing, where I just get information in my head. I just all of a sudden know things. Yeah, auto knowing. yeah. It's a weird one too. It's not the most common out of the clairs. Out of the, there's clairvoyant, there's clairaudient, there's actually clairolfactory, which is people who can smell things. But mine is claircognizance, so I just know things. The knower of knowing, yes, exactly. Knowingness is yes. Yeah, lovely, exactly. It's so annoying because it's not as clear as the others. The others, they like know. They're like, let me, but mine, I'm just like, trust me, this information, trust me, I just know. And people are like, okay. Hi, Maniac, how are you? Oh, what was the animal? Oh, you do, Carrie? Cool. Welcome in. All right, guys, you know what time it is? It's grilled cheese time. thank you, Carrie. I appreciate that. I'm so glad. That's so sweet of you. I'm glad you're here. Oh, your paranormal investigator is awesome. I just followed you back. Love that. Jules, thank you for the hand hearts. Oh my god, Jojo, that was so cute. Thank you. Did you see him making friends with that chameleon? That was adorable. Oh my god, that was so cute. Yes, Nisi. Yeah, I can't wait to see what you pick. Oh my god, look at him, Jojo. Look at his little chameleon friend. That's so cute. Thanks. He made friends with the chameleon. Oh my god, I love it. There are so many choices. Thank you, Jojo. Good night, misbehaving. Thanks, girl. See you tomorrow. Sweet dreams. Hi, C. Good night, Brittany. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Palace Society. This is the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. I'm not usually the kind of person to pull over on back roads at night. Not unless I absolutely have to. But that night, something about the storm, the long drive, and that growling pit in my stomach convinced me otherwise. I was hungry. It was late October and I was headed back to campus after a weekend visit with my friends in North Carolina. I had a midterm on Monday, and my plan had been to drive straight through, 5 hours, no stops. But then came the rain. One of those cold, slanted, whispery rains that creeps into your bones and makes the windshield wipers sound like a heartbeat. I had taken the wrong exit trying to bypass traffic, and I ended up on a 2-lane back road, surrounded by nothing but pine trees and power lines. And that's when I saw the neon sign. SYCAMRE Diner. The O in Sycamore was flickering like it hadn't worked right in years. But the rest was lit up in a cherry red neon. A tiny beacon in the middle of nowhere. I figured I'd grab a quick bite, maybe some coffee, check my map, and get back on the highway. But I should have just kept driving. I should have known something was off the second I stepped inside. The bell over the door jingled, but not like a normal bell. It made this sharp metallic ping that echoed longer than it should have. And the air inside was warm, almost too warm. And it smelled like grilled onions and pancake syrup. The place looked like it had been yanked straight from 1957. Checkerboard floor, red vinyl booths, a long counter with spinning stools, even a jukebox in the corner that looked like it hadn't worked in decades. And the people, they all stopped and looked at me the second I walked in. Not in a rude way, just quiet, like they weren't expecting me. Like I'd walked into the middle of a sentence that no one wanted to finish. A waitress, tall, with a beehive hairdo and a light blue uniform, smiled and waved me over. "You get caught in the rain, sweetheart," she said, handing me a laminated menu. I nodded, still trying to shake off that weird feeling. Yeah, the highway's a mess. She chuckled and patted my shoulder. "Well, you're safe here. Sycamore's always open for travelers." I sat down at a corner booth. The vinyl creaked, and I remember the jukebox shifted songs by itself and started playing some slow doo-wop ballad that I didn't recognize. I looked around and everyone looked normal, sort of. There was a trucker with a thick gray beard drinking coffee at the counter. A young couple whispering to each other in a booth by the jukebox. And an older woman stirring tea like she was lost in thought. But they all had the same look in their eyes, like they were there but also somewhere else. Like they were watching me out of the corner of their eyes even when they were looking down. The waitress came back with coffee. Strong, hot, and surprisingly good. And I ordered a grilled cheese with fries. Simple, safe. She wrote it down with one of those clicky pens and said, "Don't worry, it's on the house tonight." And that was my second red flag. No diner just gives food away. While I waited, I took out my phone to check the map. No signal, and I mean nothing. No bars, no Wi-Fi, not even GPS. Just a blank screen with a spinning wheel. I glanced out the foggy window and the storm was still going, but now the wind had picked up. I could see the power lines swaying like jump ropes in the dark. But the diner stayed perfectly lit. Not even a flicker. The food came fast, too fast, like under 5 minutes. But it looked amazing. Golden bread, gooey cheese, crispy fries with that little metal cup of ketchup on the side. I took a bite. Delicious. I mean, I've eaten at a lot of diners, greasy spoons, college joints, and roadside shacks, but this was hands down the best grilled cheese I've ever had. The fries were perfect, and the coffee never ran out. Every time I took a sip, it was somehow full again. I was halfway through the sandwich when the trucker got up to leave. He walked right past my table, nodded once, and whispered, don't stay past midnight. That's all he said. What? But he was already out the door. The waitress gave me a tight smile, walking over, collecting his empty mug. Old Earl. He's always saying weird stuff. Just ignore him. But I couldn't. Something about his voice stuck with me. Something about the way he looked at me. Not like I was a customer, but like I was in danger. I checked the clock over the register. 11:42. I figured I had just enough time to to finish my fries, grab the check, and head out. I still had at least 3 hours left on the road. But when I stood up, the lights flickered just once and then again. And then everything in the diner stopped moving. The couple by the jukebox froze mid-sentence. The woman with the tea stopped stirring, her spoon hanging in midair. The waitress, her hand reached out for a mug, just stopped, like someone hit pause on the entire scene. I took a step back. The jukebox buzzed, glitched, and restarted a new track. I could still move, but no one else could. And then I heard it. Not music, not a storm, a voice. Not coming from anyone I could see. Just a whisper that seemed to echo from the walls themselves. I backed toward the door, my heart hammering in my chest. I turned the knob. Locked. Of course it was locked. I tried the windows, but they were sealed shut. I started banging on the glass and shouting, but no one was outside. Just the wind and the rain, and that flickering red sign. SYCAMRE. I turned back toward the dining room, and everyone was gone. Not frozen anymore, just gone. The booths were empty. No plates, no crumbs, no mugs. No sign that anyone had ever even been there. Except for my plate. Still warm and still half-eaten. Then I saw the waitress. She was standing by the kitchen doors, her silhouette backlit by flickering fluorescent light. Her face was wrong. The same smile, but her eyes were empty, black and endless, like someone had painted over them. "You shouldn't be here, honey," she said in that same cheerful voice. "Not yet." I stumbled back, knocking over a chair as she took one slow step toward me. The others, they were waiting, but you just wandered in. She raised a hand, and the walls began to shimmer. Literally shimmer, like heat waves on asphalt. The checkered floor rippled and the red booths started to fade, becoming outlines and then shadows and then nothing. And I saw it, underneath the illusion. It was charred wood, cracked tile, broken beams, and black soot. Like the diner had burned down long ago. I ran. I don't even remember how I got out. One second I was inside, and the next I was on the side of the road, soaked to the bone and gasping for air. My car was still there, parked on gravel that didn't even look like a lot anymore. Just weeds and puddles. No neon sign, no glowing windows, just nothing. I drove back to campus that night in silence. No music, no Porch Lore podcast. I kept glancing in the rear view mirror, half expecting to see that red neon flicker back to life. I didn't tell anyone, not for weeks. Not until I finally looked up Sycamore Diner on a local history site, and I found it. It burned to the ground in 1972. A gas leak. The whole place went up at midnight, and everyone inside was killed. 5 patrons, a waitress, and a cook. The photo in the article? The same checkerboard floor. The same red booths. The same neon sign. SYCAMORE. And in the corner of the photo, that same waitress, smiling. I never took that back road again. I don't even drive at night anymore if I can help it. And every time I see a neon diner sign, something in me flinches just a little. Because I know I was there. And I know I wasn't supposed to be. But the part that keeps me up sometimes, the part that really makes my stomach turn, that was the best damn grilled cheese I've ever had, and I didn't even pay for it. And that's the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. Aw, thank you, Mace. Thank you so much. Thanks for the galaxy. And with that, I will thank you guys and say goodnight. Happy Friday, everybody. And I'm Batman. Is that what you guys wanted? Good night. I will see you guys tomorrow at same time, same place, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, on Monday, I premiere a new story, and it is one of the most famous cryptids in the world, I would say. So, it's gonna be a fun one. It is a very famous cryptid that I would assume every single one of you have heard of before. So I think you guys will like it. And as always, thank you guys for spending your evening with me. I love spending my evening with you guys. I hope you guys... On Mondays, I premiere the new story at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on my YT channel. And if you have somebody to cuddle up with, go cuddle up with them. I'm going to go cuddle up with Merlin. And Happy Friday, guys. And yes, Jade, good night, Sully. Good night, Cloud Dancing. On my way. Jade, you're so sweet. I hope you guys get some wonderful sleep. And if you don't, head on over to my YT channel. There's a bedtime stories playlist where you will be out by the second story, I guarantee it. And yes, Jade, come cuddle. Come on over. And I hope you guys have some sweet dreams. And don't forget, stay spooky.